Hey, my name is Chad Matting. I'm one half of P&M Consulting, and I would like to just go over some of the numbers that you've given us and what we found in that data. Why would anyone even want to get into this craft brewing industry? If you look at this last part of this quote, there's a growing demand with innovative offerings creating high levels of economic value in the process. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this Brew Forward campaign that you guys are working on. We took that data that you gave us and we broke it down into different areas. We're going to look at craft breweries by state, some state-specific properties so you can figure out where you want to go, and then an analysis between a relationship between IBU and the ABV in beer. The data you gave us came in two forms. There was a beer data set and a breweries data set. We combined them together and kind of started looking at it, and our cleanup only showed two columns that were missing information. The alcohol by volume was missing 62 entries, not that big a deal. The IBU is missing 42% of that information. 1,005 entries are missing out of that total 2,410. It might not be that big a deal depending on what part of data is missing. If it's just scattered throughout, we're still going to get some good numbers. We used what you gave us, but you might want to go back later and look at that and look at filling that in. First slide we're going to look at here is kind of a breakdown of craft breweries by state. You can see Colorado leads the list with 47. States like Washington, D.C., North Dakota, South Dakota, West Virginia, those all have one. What we're recommending is you look somewhere in that 9 to 10 range. That way it's not a completely saturated market, but it is a market that's proven. Looking at the alcohol by volume, this is just a median range in the states that have done this. You've got anywhere from 4 to 6%, most states coming in around 5%. What we're recommending is if you start with a beer that's in that 5% to 6% range, that's still going to give you a good IPA, a good pale ale. Any of those are going to be okay to start with. Looking at the bitterness of the beer, we're looking at a median IBU here, anywhere between that 40 to 60 range. That's what most of them, or at least the median's coming in at. So if you get anywhere or start your beers anywhere in that 40 to 60% range, that seems to be what most people are making now. And that's still, again, going to give you a good blonde ale, a good IPA can even start around that 60 range. Here's some of the outliers that we did notice. Some of that beer is even coming in close to what wine is. I mean, you're looking at Colorado, Kentucky, all of those are creating some really alcoholic beers, that 12.8%. And then if you look at the bitterness, that's a huge range too, all the way up to 138. In that 130 range, those are going to be some crazy double IPAs. Here's some of the top styles, and we wanted you to see this just so you can kind of focus on what you might want to start producing. These are what other breweries are producing. We could get more data if you wanted to look at sales, but you've got an American IPA, a pale ale, even the reds and the blondes. Those are going to work out really well if you want to start with some of those. And then this one last slide here, it was just that relationship between the bitterness of beer and then the alcohol, and there really does seem, just even looking at that 95% range, that we've got a very definite correlation there between how bitter a beer is and how alcoholic it is. Now, you do have outliers where you might have really high alcohol content but low bitterness, but still, on the most, there is a correlation. In closing, looking at locations, we recommend somewhere between like Minnesota, Arizona, Vermont. Those are some of those middle grounds. Styles to focus on is IPAs and pale ales. And then one last point is just on that IBU data. If we are missing some data, you'll need to focus on that and getting that good data so we can get better numbers. In closing, I just want to say thank you. Here's our contact information. We would like to help you move forward on this, and any other information that you need, just let us know. Thanks.